Two areas, not Iran, are near collapse because of the war with Iran. Thank you. The United Arab Emirates and right now also Iraq are experiencing an unprecedented crisis. Aside from what Iran was experiencing, obviously, and that they could also be facing a tremendous issue regarding the economy. But Iraq and the United Arab Emirates, for different reasons, are on the verge of collapse. It is said that Saraj is in this area. We must remember that the Emirates are in the west. They are divided into different parts. If this gets divided, if that scenario happens, because right now there are rumors, Saraj would be left out from, let's say, from this group of Emirates. If Saraj really tried to break away from the United Arab Emirates, something that for now is not confirmed, but there are more and more rumors that this is about to happen, the Emirates would go from being one of the most stable countries to a country that would cause an economic crisis throughout the region, and Dubai would be in trouble. Because you see, a good part of the people who live in Dubai, well, they don't work there. They live there because they're retired, because they're tourists, But the people who actually work there in Dubai live in Saraj, and if suddenly they're no longer from the same country, so to speak, if there's a division, obviously this would be a major problem. But let's look at several consequences. The United Arab Emirates, being one of the most stable countries, would have to adapt. In a tremendous way, although there is still no official confirmation, the unity within the United Arab Emirates would be, or could be, a tremendous blow, and a federation with 7 emirates. The departure of Saraj would break the internal political balance and open a constitutional crisis. If one emirate breaks away, others may reconsider doing the same. And Abu Dhabi, for example, could say, well then I'll break away, and Dubai too. Dubai, for example, depends on Saraj's territorial and economic links. A lot of the labor force from Saraj goes and works all the way to Dubai. That would affect transportation and logistics. There would be tremendous costs. If we get closer to the map here, let's try to zoom in a little more and see exactly what we're referring to. No. In this area, here at number 3, this is Saraj. Let's try zooming in more. They won't allow it. Well, right now we'll figure out a way to zoom in there. There it is. Look. Abu Dhabi, number 1, which is the biggest of all. Here it is. Then we see this area, which is Saraj. And here it is at the top. Number 6, if I'm not mistaken, would be Ras Al Khaimah. And Dubai would be this one right here. It's number 2. So then, let's say some of the points would be cut off. It's believed that it could trigger a domino effect and have impacts on oil. Come on, Trump's strategy would also fall apart because in the end, this would have been caused by the crisis with Iran. And that's the toughest issue. If one emirate manages to break away, others might start to reconsider the same thing. Dubai depends a lot on the Emirates staying together. Well, the United Arab Emirates obviously depends on that. Investors hate uncertainty, and there could be capital flight from one of the regions that had been absorbing the most capital in the world. The real estate market, the oil market, the energy market, and also the technology-related market. We have to remember that the biggest tech companies have been moving there to invest. The topic of cryptocurrencies, this is going to put pressure on capital, on banks, cause a loss of confidence in the region, and that's why it creates a domino effect for other regions. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other countries are already closely watching this regional imbalance. Recognizing a new state is not automatic. This group, this sarai, this area, this emirate would remain. It would remain in limbo for a while, unrecognized, neither a country nor anything else. Obviously, it would also have an effect on them. Why do they want to split up anyway? If this were to happen, because I insist, this is already circulating in international media. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's not just an internet rumor. This idea has actually been circulating for a while now. Saraj has several strategic points and makes demands. Well, first of all, she doesn't agree with the whole Lopez situation. I mean, they really didn't like leaving Lopez at all. It seems like there's an internal division where some people don't agree with how the war was handled. This separation from the start affects the world's supply chain. It affects international trade. And in any case, it affects the stability of the region, which is already in trouble right now. So just imagine a situation where this starts to spread to Saudi Arabia and other regions. Obviously, that would be tremendous, right? Let's now move on to some of the other consequences that could occur in this area. If this division happens, the United Arab Emirates might leave or the Emirates could split. It would basically be an earthquake in the Gulf's stability model. Abu Dhabi, which is the oil capital, is the largest, not the most well known, along with Dubai, obviously, but Dubai is not oil rich. Abu Dhabi is though. To begin with, there would be a direct economic impact. There would be another spike in oil prices, right? Just imagine, the financial markets would react with volatility, and it's believed that Iran could gain in the geopolitical arena. Iran positions itself as a country that could put even more pressure, and, well, at the end of the day, they would have caused this effect, right? Qatar could also play its own card. Qatar has historically competed for regional influence and has wanted to become something like Switzerland, a neutral country, which is also, well, a bit misleading, but let's say they've tried. The reconsideration of military bases as well. Possible reconfiguration also in how Lopez is managed. Although right now they are already out, it could be that this group that is left out, this emirate that is left out, might say, I do want to be with Lopez. Here the other emirates don't, but I do. There's a division there, something is happening. We can't quite see this up close yet because in the end they're very closed off, but something strange is happening, and now let's move on to Iraq. Strange things are also happening in Iraq. Let's discuss that. Check this out. In Iraq right now, at this very moment, military planes are flying over this area. American military planes, mind you. Let's go. Let's look at the map, right? First of all, because interesting things are happening all over this region. Let's see. First of all, give me a moment. Let's go to this area. This is the border between Iran and Iraq. And right now, there are reports of flights passing near, well, over Iraq. Specifically over Nineveh. Let's see where this place is because honestly, I haven't heard of it. But let's go. Let's go exactly to this area and let's see what's happening inside Iraq. Look, that's the area. This is where it's reported that US military planes have been passing through. The northern part apparently is this area. Planes have been reported there. What's their purpose? Are they on a reconnaissance mission? It's not known, they haven't said, but Iraq is also experiencing its own crisis and potential collapse. Iraq is currently being drawn into a growing conflict, mind you, between the United States and Iran since Iraq is caught in the middle. Because in the end, there are sectors in Iraq that are pro-Iranian, but there are also sectors in Iraq that are pro-American. In the end, that division causes them to end up losing in this war. The escalation is partly due to the operation called Epic Fury by the United States, an American campaign that has expanded and caused instability in Iraq. Right now, Washington is actively pressuring Iraqi leaders to distance themselves from Iran. What the United States is basically asking for is, they say to distance themselves, but there are high-level political sectors that are close to Iran. Even the formation of the next Iraqi government could be the next step. You can see that there are political movements happening right now inside Iraq, not just about Iraq. If there are movements, then within these movements there is a very strong group that is pro-Iranian, which is obviously very concerning for the United States because they don't want that group to end up in power. At the same time, Iran is mobilizing its own networks. I mean, since Iran is a neighbor, it is already moving its internal networks. Within Iraq, positioning oneself right now is more important than ever, in this instability and in these movements, more than ever. It may have to speed up the process of Iranizing, so to speak, Iraq, making it closer to Iran. So, this movement by the United States of planes in this area, what they're warning inside Iraq is that the militias aligned with Iran are already operating under the umbrella of the resistance. Islamic resistance in Iraq, meaning that attacks have been launched since the beginning of the war. In fact, even the US diplomats themselves issued the warning, right? And they said, hey, get out of here. If you are US contractors, I mean, if you are working with any US company inside Iraq, get out. It's not safe. Because these pro-Iranian militias inside Iraq are doing their own thing. They're making their own moves and putting pressure on anything American, or I would even dare to say anything Western, to get them out from the area, all these people, and leave Iraq weaker, so now, well, they can take it over. They don't have to take it physically. It's not like they're going to invade it. No, I don't imagine that, but it could be a more political move. The violence has intensified. The attacks in northern Iraq have intensified. Iraq is putting pressure on the United States, saying don't attack the Iranians from here. In fact, to such an extent that on one occasion the United States attacked one of these groups. And what Iran suggests to the group that attacked? The United States attacks a group. Here, Iraq tells him. Iraq, if you want to respond to him, we won't get involved. Just imagine. We're not suggesting it, but if you want to defend yourself, go ahead. We're not going to get involved. And that says a lot about how right now they're in a position where they don't want to be seen as being on either side too much, because they get into trouble. The retaliatory airstrikes by the United States and Israel have hit militia positions in several areas of Iraq. In Iraq alone, more than 100 fighters have died. These events have triggered strong reactions in other Gulf states. They have already issued joint condemnations and have warned Baghdad of possible economic and diplomatic consequences if the attacks on American positions are not stopped. The consequences have been serious for Iraq's internal stability. As I said, the Iraqis have already lost 100 fighters. That inability of the government to contain the Iranian or pro-Iranian militia factions, if they can't contain them internally. Meanwhile, politically, they're growing stronger, similar to what happened in Lebanon. Do you remember? It's not the same situation. There are different groups and militias here. But the crisis is brutal. That's why people talk about a collapse, about a potential collapse. And right now, since there's a political shift, they're going to change the president, the prime minister, all that stuff. Well, they're in trouble. They're not doing well. They're weak right now. The United Arab Emirates and Iraq are weak right now. Currently, those countries, along with Iran, appear to be the most weakened by this situation. But Iran, I see it a bit differently, because in their case, the war came after a period of tremendous instability with all the protests. I mean, it was obvious. The state was weak, and now after all this, it seems like the situation has turned out or played in their favor. So, what do I mean by this? I mean, they were obviously weak, but now where are the protests? I mean, the people who used to protest are now afraid, right? They don't want to go out. They don't dare to go out. So we see how the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is getting stronger, right? The leader, Khamenei, is sidelined, and the influence of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is much greater now. So, yes, they're left weakened because a lot of their missile launchers, facilities, and whatever you can think of have been destroyed. Okay, and on top of that, they're under pressure in the Strait of Hormuz from the United States in the Gulf of Oman. For what? Nothing passes through the Strait of Hormuz, but the other countries feel that same pressure. So the Iranians know this is a waiting game, and Donald Trump knows it too, and is also playing his own cards, as he likes to say. Who has the better hand? Well, that's what we're going to see in the coming days. But what's interesting are the side effects. An Iraq on the verge of collapse, and the United Arab Emirates apparently also on the verge of collapse. And remember which country complained the most, which was the most upset about the attacks, because they really went after the Emirates. For some reason, they were the ones getting hit the hardest. Not Saudi Arabia, which by the way were the ones who pushed along with the United States and Israel. Well, this war. They simply didn't want to get involved. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and others. They don't get directly involved, so this will be interesting. What's coming but two weakened regions, two regions clearly suffering tremendous economic and credibility issues. Who is going to want, I insist, to buy a piece of land or a luxury apartment worth millions of dollars in Dubai right now? Who is going to want to? I mean, will Google and Amazon and all the companies that were investing there want to invest right now? Honestly, I doubt it right now. It looks complicated, especially for the Emirates, which is currently the most unstable area along with Iraq. Right now, it doesn't have the same level of growing violence as Iraq, not at all. So in that sense, that's not the problem. The problem is political. It's about political divisions. They're different problems. Here in Iraq, it's political and about violence and groups clearly infiltrated by the Iranians, and in the United Arab Emirates, it's more like that. It's like a lack of agreements among the Emirates. They're divided, but it's different. Let's say the problem, at least for now. I mean, there's no report that violence is increasing. No, in that sense, it's not different. But well, let's see what gets confirmed throughout the day. There are several really interesting things that we need to talk about tonight on other topics. It's a case that really catches my attention, what's happening internally in Mexico. About Rocha, the governor of Sinaloa, people are already talking about this. Well, this was published, I think it was El Universal. It says Enrique Insulza is seeking to become a cooperating witness for the United States. According to his lawyers, he is approaching the United States Department of Justice. I mean, senator from Morena? Just imagine a senator from Morena going to the United States as a cooperating witness, a protected witness, or something like that. Imagine the information. That's not confirmed. El Universal published it, probably based on some sources they have, I imagine. I don't know. But if this is confirmed, you can, well, just imagine. Imagine, the situation would get intense. At night, we'll talk about it at length so we don't mix topics here. But a big hello to Lily. How have you been, Lily? A big hello to Antonio. What is it? Malcolm. How was Malcolm? Greetings. He says no to Mexico. Testing. United States troops. Awesome. I'll check later. Don't tell me they're all completely out of control. Greetings, Perla Edilcia. Tapons. Huge greetings to the whole community. Magico Luna. You'll be back later because it's 5 in the afternoon here in Monterrey. It's cloudy. It's very pleasant. The weather feels more like winter. This year is really strange. Honestly, I don't remember a year this odd and so out of the ordinary. Regarding the weather, let's head out for now and come back later. We already got into it at length. The next live stream will probably be at night. The long one, not early, here at 8:30. Hopefully Pepe and Vivo will already be here. A hug. Take care. Have an excellent day. It says he died in Mexico because of the CIA. Yes, Malcolm. Yes. It's something that happened here. Let's go. Just a bit longer. We'll be back soon. See you.